I would like to thank our guest speakers for the presentation delivered today in the conference, as well as I would like to thank our audience who watched us online. Also, last but not least, I would like to thank Bournemouth University for giving us this opportunity to deliver the video conference. Now we will have a roundtable discussion to wrap up the topics covered. Thank you.
That's nice. A little applause, I think.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank you for the presentations delivered, and they were really beneficial, and new insights were given to us. I see that many positive points of social media and technology were discussed during the conference, but maybe I guess there may be a negative side or a negative impacts of social media on events, and it may affect the experience of people. So I don't know, what do you think, or how do you see this side?
Maybe the PR company should lead us off, because you have to help people kind of manage that. Like, if something bad happens at your event, like, how do you come back from that?
Yeah, it's all about managing expectations, really, with the client from the start. So we helped do a launch in Bournemouth recently, and we sort of, as well as managing the PR for the restaurant launch, we also were helping out with social media. So we came up with a hashtag. It's exactly what you said, really, the 3 stages. First of all, we made sure that everyone knew about it. So we used Eventbrite, we made sure that everyone knew about the hashtag. At the event, obviously, we were engaging with people, and afterwards, we also designed a new Storify to show the engagement level. But yeah, I think the negative about it is it's a constant conversation, and you really need to be on the ball, making sure that you're replying to people. And at the event, obviously, people ask questions, and it needs a lot of people there to really be active, answering any questions and monitoring everything that's going on.
So if you're like a small company and you're not able to, so we just had a little conversation at the break. I said, if something bad happens and you post on social media and that company doesn't respond, you think negatively of that company. Do you think organizations are really aware of this? That people are expecting, somebody is watching the Facebook or wherever.
I think more and more people are aware of it, and that's why they go to PR companies and social media companies to help. But especially people who do go to people for events, but perhaps one-man band companies aren't so aware that they're being watched and scrutinised on social media.
I'm scary for them. What do they do? Hire you.
Yeah.
Ms. Manal, during our break we were discussing, and he told me there are some points during the presentation you wanted to discuss, but maybe during time. So what do you think about the social media? What would you like to add?
Actually, I just want to say I felt like it's a first time for me to present in a conference, and I feel I really enjoyed it. And also, it's I feel I need to add something, and I need to do something, and I have lots of things to say about because of the short of the time. And because I'm not a social media management or these things, I'm a computer science department, and I'm thinking about the other side of social media and how to help and how to use social the technology that's behind this social media, and to help to make it more easier or more in terms of monitoring or evaluation.
maybe developing the tool to facilitate, for example, companies or PR.
Social media marketers are looking for this kind of tool that make it more easier and also to make the multi-communication, network communication easier for everybody. And that what also social media users are always looking for that kind of tools to provide quick and reliable information.
Also, like when it comes maybe like to technology, you said that like, through the mobile, like we're being connected to many people and many industries and many connections. Like it's something maybe it's a flow and it will never end. So, but the point, like, to which extent or how can we limitate? I was thinking, like, how can we limitate these things? Because it's true, technology can help us to reach many targets or many people, but can we put like maybe limits to it? Or
there's the off button.
It's the best way then to do it.
I think that's the point that you raise. As you said, yeah, it's great to be able to reach, a lot of people with what we're doing and so on, but we don't want everyone to see where we make a mistake. We would like to limit that.
And unfortunately, the stuff that sells headlines in certain newspapers and the media is obviously adverse. There's a point about negative publicity and disaster recovery or risk management recovery. The analogy I can think of is United Airlines, again, not from events, but from the airline industry. They had a website set up with millions of users called Untied Airlines, all the people who had a bad experience. So once we hear about positive experiences, you've got to think of the negative experiences. So my cynical side is looking at those figures with the surfboards up there, with the people who have contact, but are they positive or negative contacts? So it's handling that in the right way for events and managing that in a positive framework. Apart from just switching off.
You have whole groups just for the negative experiences, for example, on Facebook. But I don't have data, but I've seen a couple of examples where it's much worse when you try to stop it than when you just because it's freedom of speech. If people want to share their bad experiences, so it's better to let it go and accept it and try to manage it as well as possible than just try to delete it or.
Yeah, we never delete it. We always just deal with it in the public space rather than take it private. Just sort of acknowledge what they've said, take it on board, make sure we respond to it, and if there's any way of appeasing the situation, then
because then it gets snowballed in terms of the negative side. So it's quite interesting, those groups of, for example, Facebook users. They just share the negative, and sometimes the companies just let it be because it's a kind of a way of people also expressing themselves.
Well, if you delete comments on Facebook, you're going to annoy the user even more.
Yeah.
And they'll just post more and more. So.
There's also one other danger when we look at the consumer perspective, because what you said in your question, if we never switch off or find the off button, we're done. There's also a bit of a danger in the on-site stage that actually people are spending almost too much in the virtual world at companies then rather than living the real now experience. So they're too much connected to all those networks, to all those possibilities, people online, with almost the pressure, I need to check the updates, I need to find all the information that there is available, and there is lots, which then has some implications on living this simple experience of getting away, of just being in the place, enjoying it, and also engaging with the people around you. Because the more we connect online, the more we can engage with our social networks online, the less you talk to people next to you, and whether it's an event or whether it's travel. And this has come out in our research quite a lot, that people, as much as they like to enhance an experience through technology, this is actually one of the things that are diminished.
Yeah, for example, for Generation I, it's also interesting the other way around. They want to share a lot because they're the fear of missing out, the FOMO. So it's like, because you don't want to miss out and you want to show people out there and you share everything. they tend to, I don't know if it was also with that age group that you did your research on.
I think one of the challenges is well, we designed a lot of social structures and institutions around being there. So if you're in class, you're supposed to be there and engage in class. If you're in church or at temple or whatever, you're supposed to be there at the moment. And it's only in the last 3 years we've had ubiquitous data collection as well as the devices to support it. So we have hundreds of years of history of one pattern of behavior. And in the last 3 to 5 years, that's been shifted. So do we have to redesign these experiences around these devices or have a more grown-up relationship with these devices to say, well, there are conditions in which they can be used or not? Because in the old days, when you had a complaint, it came to some person who resolved it. Now, you can put a complaint and it's seen as credible, even if you were never there. I could complain about an event that I'm not attending. I could say the LSA is going badly, these people are boring and so on. I'm not there. And the LSA person has to respond to me or figure out if I'm real or not. And I've increased the cost of responding to complaints and I've reduced the cost of delivering complaints. So it's quite a challenge to think of new norms to manage these sort of behaviors. Because 1 or 2 trolls can run in anybody's experience, just going on and on Facebook page, this is terrible, this is terrible, this is terrible. And you have to dedicate resources dealing with them. And for them, it doesn't matter. So watching TV and just troll aside.
Yeah, because like also there's something like the technology nowadays in the events, is people like holding the mobiles. You can see like a row or in a big event and just taking photos or video instead of really watching the concert or something. So it's being totally different, and many I guess many have spoken about these issues. Does anyone have?
Like, I don't know if you've seen this with companies now. Like, there are now places you go where they tell you can't use your mobile devices. It angers some consumers, but I could kind of understand like why. So like, for example, like if you went to like an opera, I could understand if you were told no. And people get angry. I mean, how do you control that?
You watch the opera live stream and share. If you want to be physically present, you put a phone away.
There is a kind of a counterculture coming in.
Yes.
That is exactly no, you're not online, you're here and now. So it's a choice of the event managers, I would say, what type of event they want.
Perhaps the biggest danger is ultimately in 10, 20 years there are no events because it's all visual, all media.
Yeah.
That would be
There's that
disastrous.
theory.
So therefore you lose the experience of not being there, or allegedly there, taking your point. So therefore, it would perhaps ruin it in that respect. So there may be an area for control. But then I'm from a different generation where you actually haven't grown up with social media and getting used to it. So the more traditional areas, perhaps like Wimbledon, you're talking about taking pictures of players doing a play or whatever. You may explore that and sharing that experience. People want to share it. Even my age generation guys want to show off their experiences of where they've been. And it's interesting the research coming through about people at ages of Facebook and many colleges don't use Facebook at all, particularly for a lecture, even when they seem to be communicating with students, which is an interesting one. So I think the way forward is there is that issue of being there, experience, ultimately for events. People could actually explore that. In fact, you don't need to be there. Everything's online.
But people are still going.
Yeah.
And paying quite a lot,
Yeah.
significant amounts of money to be there.
A lot of them are going there to show off that they've been there.
Yeah.
So if you got the
But they're
one friend who's
going.
got Glastonbury tickets, they're going to Glastonbury to fill up your Twitter feed with them bad Glastonbury photos. That's why they're there.
Maybe.
Well, speaking from somebody who's been to Glastonbury, I think, especially as I do social media, yes, I have my phone with me, and I might have tweeted occasionally when I manage to get signal, but I'm very aware that I'd much rather be there present, enjoying it. But there are positives about it as well. For example, if you don't follow Glastonbury on Twitter or Facebook or anything, you don't find out about all the secret people that are there. So I found out about a lot of secret sets that were brilliant, that if you weren't connected, then you don't know those things. There's no other way of finding out about it, because obviously there's no newspaper there or
anything. So I think, I don't know what my point is really, but just that, as well as you have to be mindful to actually be there at the event, social media does sometimes enhance it as well.
This is exactly what Lily mentioned also before. This is simply this fear of missing out. That people want to be connected because they could be missing those chances, like finding information that no one would have. And this creates this additional pressure. And to second point, if I may add to what Nicole just asked before, I mean, there's now also this other trend coming up that, because you said there are certain places where people are angry or disappointed if there's no technology or places where they can't connect to use devices, but there's also this counter trend emerging that people actually seek those places where there isn't technology, where there isn't a signal or cell phone reception. So this digital detox idea that we now go away from our technologies for a limited period of time where we simply can, like a diet, take a digital technology diet. Me too. And this is a really interesting way now where you can re-identify maybe and evaluate your relationship with technology. And as you said, maybe we need a more adult relationship in the way we use technology. We've been growing up with it, but maybe we overuse it, and there's a time where we say, probably it's not so good, so we need to simply see to what extent it makes sense to use it.
I think it's managing that time as well. When I've grown up with technology, got used to Facebook. I don't use Twitter because that was supposed to be my professional account. I realised younger people are using Twitter, so therefore I manage my time with both work, emails, home emails, Facebook, LinkedIn, using that a lot. It's not manageable, so I have to be disciplined in time. I use it, so work is work time, and home is home time. And event is experience time. I think your point's valuable. I think the analogy perhaps was about a wedding experience where I went to a wedding and you probably experienced it yourself where you hand around cameras so people take their own perspectives on that particular wedding because you're normally used to seeing a wedding through the eyes of the official photographer. Seeing through the eyes of other people, you share special moments that perhaps you weren't, particularly from the bride and groom's perspective, you didn't see. Which is perhaps your point on events, very good Glastonbury.
There's a question via Twitter from Dorse Vegan. What do you think the effect of Periscope will be on events?
Periscope's that Twitter thing where you can share 15 seconds. Well, more than 15 seconds, I think, live stream from Twitter. That's Periscope.
Periscope is a video live streaming tool, so I could video all of this and it could go out to...
It's via Twitter, it's into Twitter?
It's completely separate. It's its own app that Twitter bought it from the beginning of this year, but it's separate.
Okay.
I mean, it allows other people simply now, not just in terms of pictures, to see the experience through the traveler's eyes. It's bringing people there, although they're not there. So it's even more visualizing what is going on, what is the life experience, and especially for them, it has become really popular. But there's also the implication of the legal implication. If you have the video, for example, in a football match or TV, game like Wimbledon or something, where suddenly you bring all those people who can watch it online live through Periscope. So there's it's just at the verge of emergence. So I think we still need to see its application and maybe data.
I think it can just expand the event, make it more of a hybrid. So you just have different events, side events, with like the World Cup, for example. We saw that Wimbledon, that people gather in different places to see the matches. So it expands.
Yeah, but I can see the legal implication. If I've paid for, for example, broadcast rights, I pay a lot of money, and then anybody can just do that. Then I'm not happy. You see that, but this is slightly tangential, with ambush marketing. As more and more people ambush, the less and less sponsors will pay to sponsor events because they know it's no longer their exclusive territory. They know these people will be coming out of the woodwork. So it will be interesting to see what happens if everyone has a camera and everyone can potentially film things. So then,
maybe not for broadcast, but then for the event itself, because it's broadcasted so much. So then you just have to find new business models, new ways of dealing with.
Well, we've had live streaming for a while, so what is particularly good or bad about this technology? We've had live streaming for at least 3-4 years, fairly easy to use and platform. So I don't know if Periscope is that different from Twitch or live stream or Ustream. Is it particularly different?
I've never used Twitch before.
Okay.
Can people comment on it?
Yeah, Twitch, all of them, live stream, Ustream, you can comment and stuff as well. So I'm not sure.
how it's
Yeah, I'm not sure Periscope is particularly different.
other than that you sort of connect and follow with people in the same way as you would with Twitter.
Right.
So then it's like a sort of Twitter home feed. So if we all logged into Periscope now, you'd see all the videos that are going on all over the world.
Right.
So we could sit here and watch something that someone eating a sandwich in wherever, Spain or something. And if we found it interesting, then we could follow them and we'd get an update next time they did their next video.
Okay.
So that's how it works.
Right, so I guess really the linkage with the social graph is the real differentiator. It's not the
Yeah.
technology itself.
No,
just
it's a
the
social thing.
Yeah, social.
And then you sort of, it's like Instagram, you sort of give it a heart if you like it and comment on it.
Okay.
I hope that answered those.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah. Okay. Does anyone have any additional comment or a point to raise? Okay. Then I would like to thank you for attending the conference. And for the guest speakers, thank you for your presentations and delegates as well for your attendance. And hope it was beneficial and all the points discussed were good issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great job, everyone, for your guys.
Yeah.